I'd say I have a place to be. I do have another place to be, which is directly in front of these computers. In just a moment, I have a private function that I have to, and I'm going to explain this all again as soon as I get up live here on Facebook. We're live on ComedySchoolsRadioNetwork.com, live on YouTube, and now we are going live on Facebook live on Facebook Live. And now we are live on Facebook Live. We're live everywhere. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, moms and dads, children of all ages. You are watching Living on a Thin Line with Tony Vicich. I am Tony Vicich. Today's show is brought to you by Dick's House of Condoms. Dick's, we got you covered. Okay, it's a short show today, and I was explaining this right before we got on Facebook Live, but I'll do it again. I have a private event to do, almost exactly like what I'm doing now, but for a particular group of people. So I have to be ready for that. So we're only going to about 2:15 today. And for that, I apologize. Same thing tomorrow, private event tomorrow. Friday, back with maybe an extended version of the show. A lot of good things going on, a lot of bad things going on, a lot of crazy things going on. At the end of the day, oftentimes, all you find is all you can do is keep your own backyard clean. And maybe one person will peer over the fence and go, wow, he's got a clean backyard. I got to clean my backyard up. And some will peer over the fence and go, look at that son of a bitch with his fancy backyard. Someone will try to copy your backyard, and someone will report you saying that you have improperly cleaned your backyard. Nonetheless, you cannot worry about any of them. All you can do is clean up your own backyard. We're keeping our backyard clean. I'm mad at my landscaper, who has been my landscaper for only about 48 hours, because he will not drive to go get me a Chinese pistache tree, which I want to put in my front yard. He cut down my tree and cleaned up my front yard really good. As I explained to someone, oftentimes people pull up to my house and go, what a nice house. And then they look at me and go, you do your own yard work, don't you? So about once every 6 months, I hire a professional to clean it up. And he did, and he cut down the tree that died. Whether I killed the tree or not, I don't know, but the tree died. And I told him I wanted a red pistache in my front yard. And he went to all the nurseries within, 200-foot radius of the house, and then told me that he could not get one. And I talked to a nursery. So this weekend, I am driving to a nursery in Queen Creek, Arizona to get my red pistache tree. I want to look fine in my front yard. But the guy wouldn't drive. He goes, no, it's too far. It's too far. I can't go there. And I said, I'll pay for your gas. He goes, it's too far. So the guy wouldn't go get my tree. Said he get my tree, didn't get my tree. So right now I'm treeless. I'm treeless Tone. That's who I am. For the first time in the history of having Casa de Maricopa, I am treeless Tone. But I'm going to remedy it myself. Will I hire someone else to plant the tree? Depends on if I want the tree to live or not. Anyway, like I said, it's a short show today. Hey, remember real quick, if you're in the greater Gilbert area, Gilbert, Arizona, what's eating Gilbert, Arizona? There's some great shows there this weekend at JP's Comedy Club, jpscomedyclub.com. I'm booking the headliners into there, and I have chosen some fantastic. We've got so many funny people who live here in the Valley of the Sun. So many funny people. One of the funniest, Jay Penn, is kicking off the weekend Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 5 shows, 7 and 9. Safe social distancing, seating, wear a mask, have some fun. Okay, going on, I want to tell you about that. Like I said, a short show. So what I want to do today is get right to the music. Hello, Randy. Hello, Lofton. Hello, Brother Jer. Hello, Kevin Brown. Hello, my wife, Shirley. Hello, Tina and Mike. Hello, everybody who is watching now or will watch in the future. The show is built around 3 things. Your questions and comments on social media that I, in real time, I try to comment on or answer your questions. Usually some knick-knack or doodad or autograph or memorabilia or bobblehead. Yes, bobblehead that we have sitting here in the home office that we show you and try to weave a story around. We're also keeping you updates on Ray the Wonder Cat. We showed him yesterday, the cat that my wife found in a dumpster, not even a day old. Still had his umbilical cord attached. She fished him out of the dumpster, and now he's alive, and he's starting to knock around those little balls with bells in them that cats like so much. So that's right. A cat will knock around your balls. I'd just like to point that out. And then we recommend two artists or two pieces of music based off our vast vinyl album and CD collection. And what we're doing now, what we decided to do, is we're going back to, we have got tons of CDs that we could talk about, but we want to honor the music that we really like and share it with you. And what we're doing now is we are actually putting up links. We were recommending music, talking about the artists, and then saying, hey, go to YouTube and listen to them. But we want to make it a little easier for you to do. So we are actually putting links up to the recommended songs. We recommend now 2 songs by the artists. So let's get right to that. Let's get to an unheralded great of the 60s, because he did so much for music and launched a careers of some really wonderful artists too. And that is Paul Butterfield. How cool is that album cover, man? If that doesn't say 1960 City, if that isn't what some of the type of things that influence shows like movies like the Blues Brothers and the Blues Brothers themselves, but also influenced so many other blues players. Paul Butterfield formed the Paul Butterfield Blues Band in 1963, a white boy who loved the blues. In his band was Mark Naftalin, an organ player who went on to have a great session career, Sam Jay on drums, Jerome Arnold on bass, but get your 2 guitar players. On rhythm guitar, Elvin Bishop. Elvin Bishop is a young boy, and you can see him here. He's standing. Let's see if I can do this for you. I'm not going to do it right. There. Later on, gaining incredible popularity with the Elvin Bishop group. Sounds like Fooled Around and Fell in Love, and I'm strutting my stuff. Elvin Bishop on rhythm guitar. Mike Bloomfield, one of my personal guitar heroes, on slide guitar. Mike Bloomfield, who went on to play on many of Dylan's albums and also the Super Sessions. Just great stuff. Side 1, born in Chicago. Shake Your Money Maker, Blues with a Feeling, Thank You, Mr. Poobah, Got My Mojo Working, Mellow Down Easy, Side 2, Screamin', Our Love Is Drifting, Mystery Train, Last Night, and Look Over Yonder's Walls. Now, a lot of these were great blues standards. And what bands like the Butterfield Blues Band were able to do was play the music that was only played on black radio stations or only played in clubs in black neighborhoods because African Americans weren't allowed to mix in other neighborhoods and other clubs, and bring it to the masses, to white middle class kids. And bands like Paul Butterfield had a lot to do with civil rights, because much like Little Richard playing in a auditorium, or Chuck Berry playing in an auditorium where black people had to be on one side and white people had to be on the other one, the music started, they just knocked down those ropes and all started dancing together. Butterfield brought this great African-American sound to the white listening public, and then also elevated those who certainly deserve their due. He was a big lover of Muddy Waters. Muddy Waters was his mentor. He toured with Muddy Waters. Butterfield is not well known, even to people who were around in those days. Bloomfield is more well known, and he's not well known. Elvin Bishop, much more well known. But Butterfield really influenced so many kids who were getting together in garages to play rock and roll. And like Little Walter, who we spoke about yesterday, Butterfield was a singer and harmonica player, and just a kick-ass harmonica player. And because of influences like Sonny Boy Williamson and Little Walter, he became a great harmonica player and was able to use it as a lead instrument and play great melodies on it. We are going to recommend today, and we're going to put up the link from the Paul Butterfield Blues Band album, which I believe came out in 1965. He was ahead of his time. Shake Your Money Maker. Butterfield was one of those guys who was just always just one beat off as far as incredible fame and fortune. They played at Woodstock. They played at Woodstock and did not make the album. I remember, matter of fact, I remember watching something with one of the directors and editors going, "We saw it, we did." He was at Monterey Pop Festival, like the Grateful Dead, at the important places. But when the big show came, sometimes diffed it a little. But if you had a chance, as I understand it, from people who saw him, if you got to see him in a small club on an old street in the inner city in the 60s or 70s, you saw something. Like many great blues artists, he died. He had a drug problem. He died of a drug overdose. They say accidental drug overdose at the early age of 44. But if you love the blues, if you love rock and roll, if you want to know where it all came from, you're going to want to listen to Paul Butterfield and go, "Oh, that sounds like." I was talking with a little guy. He's a big guy now, Philip Hernandez, who is my nephew when he was little. And we were watching Aerosmith on television. He was a little kid, and he goes, "I like these guys. I like these Guns N' Roses guys," because that's what happens a lot of times. You go back and listen to some of the originators, some of the progenitors, and you go, "Oh, that sounds just like," yes, something that then comes along once again 10, 20 years later and is made new again. The next album we're going to talk about, and like I said, I got to go short today because I got to be someplace at 2:30. I apologize. But when we get this music in, it's important. Check out this album cover. We've talked about them before. This is In the Court of the Crimson King. Now, if you were a kid my age, like 12, 13 years old, this album came out in 1968, and you saw this at a record store, you went, "I got to have that. Look at that. That is a cool picture." But the music was absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. King Crimson was a prog rock band, although they often eschewed the label. That sort of progressive mixture of rock, symphony, jazz, and hallucinogenically influenced music created a really unique sound. They influenced bands like Genesis to a great deal. The personnel on this band, this was their first album. Robert Fripp on guitar, who still is with them. Ian McDonald on keyboards. Michael Giles on drums. Peter Sinfield, words and illumination. I guess that means he was a lyricist. And Greg Lake on bass, who later on achieved incredible fame with Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. But this album came out in 1968. It sounded so completely different from anything that was being played on certainly your FM radio, not played at all on AM radio. But if you listen to FM rock, the opening song, 21st Century Schizoid Man, made your hair stand up, not just on the back of your neck, but on the top of your head. Incredible music. And you know what? Kind of prescient as far as talking about a 21st Century Schizoid Man, because we are certainly schizoid now in the 21st century. Recorded in 1968. If you want a window into, this came out of England, which doesn't really have a big musical history. You don't think of great music in England, but you certainly did starting in the 60s. And all the wild experimentation and influence and chances they were taking, all the way from Eric Clapton to King Crimson to Procol Harum to the Beatles to the Rolling Stones. These guys took the road less traveled and created a sound that no one's been able to replicate. And it kicked some hippie ass. So we are recommending King Crimson on their first album. Listen to the entire album because it closes with an incredible tune, In the Court of the Crimson King. But we're going to recommend 21st Century Schizoid Man because that will grab you. That'll grab you by the throat and pull you into the kitchen, man, and make you cook some biscuits. I'll tell you that right now. I had the opportunity to see King Crimson when I was a young man, and they had Black Oak, Arkansas open for them. It was probably the strangest bill ever put together. Jim Dandy in Black Oak, Arkansas, who I loved, and King Crimson, and it was different. Okay, that's all I got time for today, you guys. But check out the tunes. They're going to be put up here in the comments, and later on I'll put them in the opening remarks. But if you remember that music and you loved it, go back and listen to it again. You know, now you don't have to go digging through your album collection and find it someplace. Maybe it's got scratches on it. We've got a YouTube link up for you right now. Listen to it. Remember how wonderful it made you feel. If it's new to you, listen with an open mind. Oh, yeah, and my brother Jerry put in also Dust. The band Dust was Dust, Black Oak, Arkansas, and King Crimson. I don't know who booked that gig, but I would have fired that booker the next day. But it was a hell of a show. Now you will just be able to go right to the comment sections, listen to the great blues of Paul Butterfield and the great prog rock of Robert Fripp and King Crimson. I'm back tomorrow with another short show, but I'm back. I ain't going nowhere. You don't go anywhere either, unless you have to. And then wear a mask and a condom and a welding helmet and wrap yourself in saran wrap. You got it, and wear sunglasses. All right? And take a motorboat, because then nobody will even know. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You've been watching Living on a Thin Line with Tony Vicich. I got to go. Bye-bye.